East Palestine, Ohio is at the center of one of the biggest scandals in history. After a 50-car train full of toxic chemicals flew off the rails last week. The government has the video of the train derailing, but won't release it. The skies over East Palestine were filled with 50 tons of toxic chemicals, a toxic mushroom cloud. Chemicals like vinyl chloride. It's now in the clouds, causing acid rain. The community says it's like someone dropped a toxic nuke on them.
We basically nuked a town with chemicals so we could get a railroad open. I was kind of surprised that when they quickly told the people they can go back home. There's a lot of what ifs, and we're going to be looking at this thing 5, 10, 15, 20 years down the line and wondering, gee, cancer clusters could pop up, well water could go bad.
But the state government's top doc came out today and said those cancer clusters are no big deal. You've been exposed to these things your whole life. If you get cancer, it's not because East Palestine looks like Chernobyl.
Most of the chemicals that we're worried about and that we're talking about fall into a category known as volatile organic chemicals. Volatile organic compounds, or VOCs, it's important for us to recognize, are actually a part of our everyday life. So if you go this afternoon on your way home to pump gas in your car, you're being exposed to volatile organic compounds.
So Ohio Fauci says, don't mind the cloud of black smoke over your city. Breathe it in. It's organic. The same government who forced us to wear masks outside for 2 years now says chemical explosions in your neighborhood are just a part of everyday life. Now get back to work. We weren't allowed to go to work for 2 years because of a virus that gave 99% of us a runny nose. But you better punch in at 9 a.m., Ohio, even if it means inhaling mustard gas on the way in. Everything's fine. Just don't look in the rivers. The fish aren't dead, they're just sleeping at the surface.
Another fish. There's hundreds of them up here. Another fish. Another fish. They're just everywhere. Fish. Fish. Fish.
Totally normal. I mean, who wouldn't drink from a stream chock full of dead fish? Because that's the stream where the community's drinking water is from. They shower with that water. They wash their hands with that water. And the government's just telling them maybe buy some Poland Spring. Who cares about a couple of fish anyway? Ohio's Parks and Recs lady says it's not like anything with fur and feathers are dying. Nothing like warm-blooded, fuzzy little creatures or anything.
We don't have any evidence of non-aquatic species suffering from the derailment. Haven't had any concerns about that, not only here, but we also communicate with the Pennsylvania Game Commission as well, and they haven't heard about that either.
Well, except the chickens that are dropping dead.
Amanda Brashears was going to feed her 5 hens and rooster this morning when she discovered them all lifeless. She believes the smell following the detonation of the train carrying chemicals that derailed in East Palestine is to blame for her birds' sudden death.
My chickens were perfectly fine before they started this burn, and as soon as they started the burn, my chickens slowed down and they died.
I guess Biden's got his new excuse for egg prices going up. And it's not just fish and chickens. It looks like foxes are next.
Taylor tells me all of his foxes have been sick and acting different since the weekend. Some have abnormally puffy faces, including the one he's holding. He says they are not eating properly. Many are dealing with stomach issues and are acting lethargic. Taylor says the train derailment is causing all of these issues.
I don't know about you, but if I go to the zoo and every animal's dead or acting strange, I'm turning around. Aren't we just a bunch of animals anyway? I mean, at least the men are. We had a guest on last night, a resident there, who says symptoms are already hitting him. Listen.
As far as the smell, that's definitely present. I can't today, where we are right now at my shop, this is the first time I've been here in a week, and I was here 5 minutes and I have a headache right now. And you can't spend a lot of time here without feeling like crap. And my question is why, if it's okay, if it's safe, and all these people say it's safe, if it's so safe and okay, then why does it hurt?
But the government doctors in Ohio say, probably the same ones who locked us down for COVID say, oh, you're getting headaches? It's probably stress.
People around East Palestine suffering headaches, other health problems like sore throat, etc. And then in addition, other anecdotal reports about animals dying like chickens and cats.
Unfortunately, volatile organic compounds share with a host of other things the ability to cause very common symptoms at the lower levels. So headache, eye irritation, nose irritation. We have to look at the measured facts. And the measured facts include the fact that the air sampling in that area really is not pointing toward an air source for this.
So poison gas is lighting up the neighborhood, and government doctors are saying, your runny nose, your headache, probably just the common cold. Wait a second, a year ago, you couldn't go to the gym unless you were double vaxxed with a mask. If you coughed, you had to isolate for 10 days. So what's going on here? Are we looking at a cancer cluster and the doctors are telling us to shake it off? We need a second opinion. Remember 9/11, all those first responders rushing out into the ash all over their face? We are still paying claims for that. People died. And where the hell's the president? Biden never shuts up about trains. And he told us he was going to cure cancer. And now a train goes off the tracks. They light it on fire. It's probably going to give everybody cancer. And the president calls a lid. You have the whole Ohio River contaminated. These chemicals are flowing downstream to West Virginia. And we haven't declared a national emergency. We declared a national emergency over monkeypox. And there's no national emergency here. Biden was too scared of letting a single piece of debris from a balloon fall in Montana. But he's okay with cancerous chemicals in our rivers. I mean, if not Joe, you'd think maybe Al Gore would be mad. No. Chemical catastrophe causing acid rain, dead fish. How is Al not red in the face right now? Even Mayor Pete's in hiding, and he's literally in charge of the railroad system. This thing's so bad, even Ilhan Omar and Jesse Watters Primetime agree. The Squadster saying, quote, we need direct action from Pete. But there's a major cover-up happening. The rail company, Norfolk Southern, they're doing whatever they want. When Norfolk Southern's train spilled 500 tons of toxic chemicals all over Ohio, they said, all right, guys, this is how we're going to handle things. You know this crime scene we have here? We're just going to light it on fire. And the Biden administration and the Ohio government said, okay, just throw a match on it and we'll say it's safe. So why'd they let the careless rail company light the crime scene on fire? Well, Norfolk Southern, they donated to pretty much every politician, especially in Ohio. Think of any race you can, even the primary, from state, local races to all the way up to the Senate. They just poured money into everything. Republicans, Democrats, doesn't matter. This company, the last 3 administrations, lobbied to kill brake regulations. These guys are in charge. So where's the EPA? If they say my plastic straw is destroying this country, then they must be all over a cancer-causing gas bomb in the Ohio River Valley, right? Or the random toxic ash that's raining down in Illinois. Well, actually, the EPA administrator, Michael Reagan, no relation to Ron, is too zoned in on electric school buses to care about poisoned drinking water. He just announced a pledge to support electric school buses nationwide. You have cancer? Here's an electric bus. Does this guy, Reagan, even know anything about the environment? Well, we looked into him, and the only reason he was nominated to run the EPA was because he promised to fight off environmental racism. Is this his idea of fighting environmental racism, spilling toxic chemicals on poor white people in Ohio? He doesn't have time to worry about a cloud bomb of toxic fumes over Ohio. Just like the EPA didn't have the time to fix the Animas River, remember, after they spilled toxic sewage into it? Remember?
500 gallons per minute is the rate the Environmental Protection Agency says mustard yellow metal contaminated wastewater is flowing into the Animas River in southwestern Colorado. The EPA's own workers triggered the spill last Wednesday when a crew investigating the Gold King mine breached a debris dam. At last estimate, more than 3 million gallons of water containing toxic mining chemicals like cadmium, copper, manganese, and zinc has discharged into the river. Weekend sampling found high levels of arsenic and lead as well.
So Obama's EPA refused to pay for any of that. They said they wanted to pay, but the law didn't say they had to pay. Yeah, so about those $1.2 billion in damages, we can't get involved, even though we may or may not have caused it. The EPA didn't care about that river, just like they don't care about East Palestine. And they don't really care about safety. Primetime just found a report that 4 whistleblowers inside the EPA claim officials are covering up cancer-causing chemicals. Whistleblowers are saying that they've been tampering with tests on chemicals to make them look less toxic, so they can ride them on the rails with the bad brakes and make more money for Norfolk Southern. You think the EPA is serious about cleaning this up? They're covering it up. Tell you what's happening there is normal. Just a runny nose, just a cough, just a headache. Deal with it. Go back to work.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.